Okay, shalom everybody. We are today a very special day. We're going to do a little bit from the gate of joy, and we're going to finish Be'ezrat Hashem the gate of anger. Finally, after a long time that he was in Eretz Israel. First, I want to thank the Medina's family that's so much dedicated to Torah class, to Torah learning. As soon as I come back, I already send a message. There's a Torah class a week later. So Baruch Hashem, the love of the Torah, for Torah, and this family, Be'ezrat Hashem will give them blessing in everything they do. Baruch Hashem. Thank you. You know, in the time, in the month of, once the month of Adar begins, we increase our involvement in joyful activities. As it says, Mishenichnas Adar marbim besimcha. Listen, we increases. What does that mean? It means that you have to be.
You already had something, so in order to increase it.
Exactly. You had what?
Joy.
Joy. Okay. So, when you are joyful during the year, you must, on the time of Purim, meaning, Lana? תחזור אליו.
I'll do the code.
לא, אין שום פעם. So, תגיד לו לא צריך, שלא יבוא. It's too late. לך הביתה. Okay. Even in the time of Av, the month of Av comes, when we had the destruction of the first two temples, first and second. It says that Mishenichnas Av mema'atin besimcha. We're not increasing, we're lowering the level of joy. Which means you have to be joyful a whole year. But in the times of Purim, in the month of Adar, you have to increase. Joyful activities. But, you know, you have to be under the radar. Things that are permitted. You don't go crazy in dancing clubs. That's prohibited to do, right? No, the mitzvah is to be happy. That makes me happy. Well, it makes you happy. Take drugs too. It makes you happy too. Drink alcohol. It makes you happy. So what? We have boundaries in life. The Torah teaches you how to be happy. A simcha of mitzvah, a simcha of joy, a simcha of I don't know, doing something good for someone else. This is a good simcha. Okay? You have to think positive. If you think positive during the day, you'll see that you'll have more and more good things coming to you, because you're actually making a very special and unique connection to God and to Hashem that wants you to be happy, and He blesses you. When you're angry and you're upset, you take yourself away from the Shekhinah, away from Hashem. People that are upset, people that are angry, you see most of the day that they have a lot of problems and anxiety and depression. Why? Because there's a bad karma, they call it, bad energy around them. Okay? Even when you're happy, you have to be careful not to be happy when someone else gets in trouble. Even if it's your profession. What does that mean? For example, I don't know, a doctor. Without sick people, they become useless or jobless, right? They have nothing to do. They'll be unemployed. So he should be happy that he can help other people. He can use his knowledge to heal people. Hashem is the healer, but He's a good messenger. Never ever be happy with someone else's trouble, because from Shamayim they'll punish you. They do get in trouble, and people will laugh at you. This is midah keneged midah, tit for tat. What goes around comes around. Measure for measure. There is a custom in weddings that they break, the Khatan, the groom breaks a glass. And what he says before? אם אשכחך ירושלים, if Yerushalayim, forget Yerushalayim, forget my right hand, so forth and so on. There breaks. We always remember in times of joy the destruction of our temple, because our life are not complete without temple, without Mashiach with us. So we have to break a glass. And many communities, the custom is, what they do, to delay the music. Usually what happens, you break the cup, right? Immediately after you break the glass. Hey, you are showing a sign of mourning. You just broke a glass and then a music. So in many communities they have a delay of 15 to 20 seconds, and then they signal the DJ to start the music, to show that we're really upset. It's the time of the Talmud, what they used to do in a very great occasions and very great celebration. They used to break something expensive. Oh my God, the old glass was broken. So people will be in the right proportion, you know. Don't be so happy too much. The only time that a Jew can really be 100% with happiness and joy is when Mashiach comes and the temple is built, the Beit HaMikdash. Other than that, we don't, you know, it's because of that it's called Zerat HaChurban, the decree of the destruction. In many communities, there is no music with instruments in wedding. I was in a Hasidic wedding when I was in Israel just lately, with a family that comes here to Dallas, and Baruch Hashem, we're able to help them with the interpretation for their child in the Scottish Rite Hospital. And so they invited me to the wedding, and I went there with my wife and my girls to see a Hasidic wedding. And I noticed that they had no music. What they had a drummer, and they had 3 people singing. And you won't notice that there is no, how do you call it? Keyboard or guitar or trumpets, nothing. Because they were singing, 3 of them together, and there's only drummer, and there was a guy, the 4th guy was sitting, I noticed, behind, very close to the drummer, and making sounds with his mouth. You think it's some type of a bass guitar or something. He did such a good job.
That's cool.
And it's ancient custom for many, many years in that community, Hasidic community, because of the destruction of the temple. We don't forget. We say Hashem every day, build your temple, build your Beit Mikdash. So many people want us dead. Iranian. What Iranian wants from the Jews? That we're sharing a same border? It says in Kabbalah that at the end of the days that we are at right now, Messianic days, all the very cruel leaders, kings will come for the last time. The Neshama will come. So it could be the same that the Nebuchadnezzar was Saddam Hussein. I don't know, Pharaoh when he was, I don't know, what's his name was, Obama. Obama.
Obama.
The vice president.
President?
And obviously Obama. Obama was the last president.
Barack Obama.
And I don't know, maybe Trump is Koresh. Koresh helped to build the Beit Mikdash. So all the Haman came back. Ahmadinejad, right? Ahmadinejad. They all come back in the last age, the last generation. Nowadays, everybody that joined the Jewish people, or the Jewish people that fulfill Torah and Mitzvot, they'll survive. After that, that's it. You missed the train. So sooner, the better. So that was an introduction to the joyful day that we are at, and we can complete Be'ezrat Hashem the gate of anger. So we learned so far that it's very bad to be angry. You're bringing a lot of bad forces or bad energy on you, and it reflects to their family, to the business, to your own life. Always think or count to 10 before you react. I was discussing this topic a long time ago, and just yesterday someone told me that he had an issue last Friday with his wife. She was upset, something with the children. And he remembered the class. I always said, count to 10. He said, and that's not me. It's not, his name is not Jackie. I'm just making up a name. So you won't know what I was talking about because someone from our community. He said, this is not Jackie. Jackie will respond right on the spot. When it's short, who is the boss in the house? Muscles, right? And then he counted 10, remembered the class. He says, okay, honey. Honey, she never heard this word before. he took the child, he took take care of her, he changed the diapers, and then he says 30 minutes later she came to me and she apologized. And said to me something very, she said, she apologized to me. That's refreshing. You know, so the relationship at the house, things got better just because of 10 seconds silent. He was angry, but he decided that he wants to think about it. After 10 seconds, already she left the room. There's nobody to fight with. Anyway, that's it. It's done. He said from there, that was yesterday, so it was Monday, Shabbat, and Sunday, Monday, you keep training that, you know. At job, at work, everywhere. He counted 10. He take his thought through a sifter before he throw words that would regret later. Okay, go ahead.
Know that the rightness of a man's intellect is the governing of his anger, as it is written in Mishlei 19:11. A man's intellect is the withholding of his anger. Anger inclines greatly towards pride, and the angry man does not escape
Pride. You know where anger comes from? From pride. Haughtiness, you're saying, right? Because you have too much pride in you. You think you control the world. Who is going to talk to me like that? Everyone has a little El Capone in him. Right? El Capone. Against his wife, his children, his teacher, his boss. It doesn't matter. Because you have too much pride in you. You think you run the world. You're the king of the world. You're nothing. You're made out of flesh and blood. At the end of the days, worms will eat you. Okay? So, if you are angry, you should know that it comes from a pride. You're a very haughty person. You have to work on that. Because it comes, let's put it that way. Anger, it's a branch of haughtiness, of pride. כעס זה ענף של גאווה. זה בא מגאווה. Go ahead.
Okay. The angry man does not escape pride, whose evils you already know. It is fitting that a man keep himself far from anger, and even if something merits an angry response, he should restrain himself and not become angry. And this is what the angry man must do in the beginning. When he contemplates being angry, he must not feel the offense at all.
Should restrain himself. This is very hard. This is the solution, the only solution to manage that. But the Torah teaches you to restrain yourself, hold yourself. We're not talking about a case that someone, an enemy, or someone that wants hitting you, and not supposed to defend yourself. You're supposed to defend yourself against your enemies. But now it could be, a family member that is really aggressive against you. You are stronger when you're quiet. You are stronger when you restrain yourself. Don't you think that you lose when you don't respond? This is a mistake. In the eyes of Hashem, Hashem sees how you are managing your pride, your haughtiness. And He will pay you for that. It will be a great reward. Go ahead. Continue. Find it?
Even if he was struck or cursed, he must not respond and not grow angry and not feel it. And this is a certainty. If one is very prone to take offense, it is far easier for him not to feel anything and be silent and restrain himself entirely than to allow himself to vent only a little anger. Mm-hmm. For this is an impossibility for the angry man. If he draws upon a little anger, in the end he will become extremely angry.
You know, what's the solution, the remedy for anger? Silent. Silent. Be quiet. This is the first aid and maybe the best solution for anger. I'm gonna blow. What do you mean to be quiet? I'm gonna blow. I'm not gonna blow. It's gonna take time when you train yourself. Things that will make you upset now will not make you upset at all in the future. This is the best way to restrain and control your anger. First thing, be quiet. Remember we said count to 10? Count to 10 is meaning to be count to 10 in your head, right? Don't go 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, that's not the meaning. In your head. Evaluate the situation. What's going on here? Okay.
But if one wishes to withhold the spirit from anger, and yet at the same time to instill fear into his children and the members of his household, or if he is a community leader and he wishes to display anger against the community to return them to the right path, what shall he do? In order to chastise them, let him give them the impression that he is angry with them, and let him become within himself,
Right.
as one who pretends to be angry when he's really not.
Right. This is a good solution, and I've used it many times. In a class, you can't be too soft, because 2 seconds later, the children, the students, feel that they can play with you. There will be no class. There will be no teaching. But on the other hand, I can be angry. So the Torah teaches you, your act. You play like you're angry. Sit down. It's a game. You do it toward your children. You don't really get upset. You show them who's the boss, but it's manageable. You control it. You know, when you are really angry, you lose control. You don't control anything. So you learn, you know, a first-year teacher is not like a 20 years teacher. It takes time to learn in life. Life is the greatest, university or school. Because you learn in life what to do, what to avoid. But if you learn Torah, the Torah can save you a lot of time. It makes your life way easier. Go ahead.
But when he displays this anger to the members of his household, let him take great care not to do so in the presence of poor guests, for they will feel that he is angry with them. Therefore, he should give the impression that he is happy in their presence.
Okay? So you also show when the children or whoever is around you, even if you're a boss, when you're angry, you're playing, but when you're happy. So they can see the two sides of you. You can't be like a face of 9th of Av all the whole year. The times of destruction, always upset. If you're happy, you're drawn toward people that they're happy around you. If you're upset like that, you're going to have people around you that have the same. Remember what we said? Lama lo bechinam, it says lo bechinam, alech zerzir etzel orev, mipnei shehu mino. Torah says you'll never see a crow on a tree and next to it a dove. Never. Why? It's a non-kosher bird with a kosher bird. They're not from the same family. They're birds, but not the same. Because everyone are drawn to their own species, their own style. You won't see a great rabbi, I don't know, dancing in clubs. It's not his thing. And you won't see a guy that always in clubs sitting and studying Torah now. It's not for him. It's not his company. It's not, doesn't work like that. So you're a happy person. You see that there are people around you are happy too. Sometimes could be because of you happy, you make them happy. But if you're angry, you're bringing upon yourself a lot of troubles and problems and sickness that hurts most and foremost yourself and your neshama, your soul. And it takes a long time to clear your neshama, your soul. A long time. Go ahead.
The sages have commanded to remove oneself from anger until one can control himself so that he won't even feel anger-provoking things, until he roots out the anger from his heart. This is the good way and the way of the righteous. They are shamed, but do not shame in return. They hear their disgrace, but do not answer. They serve out of love and rejoice in afflictions. About them it is written in Shoftim 5:31, and those who love him will be as going forth of the sun in its strength.
Right. You know, we said just before that one should give an impression that he's happy in their presence, the presence of the poor, the people that are miserable. It reminds me of a story, we can conclude with that. One day a Rebbe was sitting at a table, and this Rebbe used to invite on Shabbat table a lot of people that have nowhere to be on Shabbat or to the Kiddush. And he had a beautiful table with candles and beautiful food and a white tablecloth. It was beautiful. You like sitting with angels. Wow! Everybody that came to that house was so impressed by it. He got so much energy for the entire week. One of the poor guys that were invited wanted to reach one of the food, and on the way he hit his own glass wine, and it was poured over the beautiful white tablecloth. Immediately the Rebbe poured his own, and he says, "Oh my God, this table is shaky. Honey, we have to fix after Shabbat the table." What did he do? He just
Take away
he gave him such a good feeling that nothing happened, happens all the time, happens to me all the time. This is a smart, this is a wise man. Instead of getting upset, can you be careful, my friend? This is like, but this you're losing your mitzvah. But by doing what he did, he just bought himself a great place in heaven in Gan Eden. On behalf of Ohev Israel Foundation, I want to thank everybody. Please watch it out there. Watch your anger. Don't get upset. Count to 10. And you know what? Study Torah, because the Torah teaches you the way of life. The real thing. The Torah and only Torah can change you. God bless you. On behalf of Ohev Israel, Toda Rabba to Medina's family, all the participants, and all those that are watching us right now. God bless you all. Have a happy Purim. See you here next week. Next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. God bless you.